I speak a lot about generosity and how it is important to be giving. And in this video, what I'd like you to consider and start doing is not only, of course, acts of generosity, as acts of, I'd say, gratuitous or very free, willing acts of kindness without asking anything in return, without expecting anything in return, because you will always get something in return, and in a matter that you probably did not expect. But more than that, what I want you to do, and this video is really mainly about this, is to clean up your house, your apartment, your car, of everything that is holding you back. And when I say everything, it can be a lot and it can be difficult to do, but everything that you keep as a treasured memory of something negative that happened in your past, every reminder you have in your house of things you failed at, that you were not successful, are just constant reminders in your subconscious mind that you are not good enough. And very few people take the time to actually go through everything you own. And I mean everything you own: the clothes, the books, the pictures, the jewelry, the shoes, the accessories, everything you own. Go through everything, and for each thing, feel, is this something that's neutral? Underwear usually is neutral, unless it's, fancy underwear that you had on a date. But see if it's neutral, if it doesn't remind you of anything positive or negative, or both positive and negatives equally. If it's something that is positive, that reminds you of positive circumstances, of successes, of achievements, such as awards, such as I have a ton of books. See, for example, just a few books that are written that remind me that, wow, I've did all these things. So things that remind you of the positive, and there are things that remind you of the negative. For example, you wore something and you didn't get the job, or you wore a piece of clothing and the date went really bad, or it was the day that you got divorced, or it was the day that you had that car accident. So, or it was an engagement ring of someone that, of course, beat you up, or whatever the case might be. So you want to look at everything you have. What does that remind you of? Does that remind you of a positive circumstance, something positive in your life? If it does, you keep. If it reminds you of something negative, you give away. You give away by blessing it so that the next person can have a positive experience with what you give. So imagine if you would receive only gifts and things that come to you that were blessed with positive energy of only the positive happening with those things in your life. How beautiful would that be? So do the same with the things you give away. Don't give them away saying, ugh, we just want to get rid of this, but give them away with the energy of love, with the energy that something amazing will happen to the next person using that piece of clothing, that accessory, that jewelry. You can sell the jewelry. You don't have to necessarily give it away. So that's one huge cleanse you can do. And then look at everything you have not used in the last year, 6 months, 2 years, and really think, why are you keeping it? Okay, it's just blocked energy. If it's really something that reminds you of an amazing thing that happened in your life, then sure. But if it's a piece of clothing that reminds you that you gained weight, well, give it up. If it's something you never wore in the last 2 years, give it so that somebody else can wear, and so that you create room and space in your closet for new clothes. I remember I coached a lady a while back, and I told her exactly this, to get rid of all the clothes that she didn't wear the last 3 years. And she told me, well, if I do that, I won't have anything else to wear. But I said, but imagine if now today you would get the most spectacular job offer ever, or a tremendous amount of money unexpectedly, would you still wear these things? Would you go on your job interview with that piece of clothing that is 2 years old? Or would you buy something new just for that new date, that new amazing job opportunity, that new moment in your life you want to celebrate? Usually we buy new things for the new things that happen in our lives. So why keep on lingering to old things that we will not even wear on a new occasion, just because we know that with the new, we'll like new because it has this energy of positiveness, of hope, of whatever can happen extremely well. So she took my advice, she got rid of everything, and of course, 2 days later, one of her neighbors came to her, and not knowing that she just gave away most of her clothes, told her, look, I just cleaned up my closet and I have all these amazing clothes that are all designer wear that I barely wore, if not at all, just because it's a rich, a wealthy neighbor that just buys a lot of clothes, designer, and not necessarily wears everything. So her closet would actually replace just like that in a fraction of the time it took her to even buy all of those clothes. So suddenly her closet was full again with beautiful, trendy, upbeat, positive, glorifying, wealthy looking clothes. And to make the story end even better, that client actually went to be very, very successful in her field in a very short amount of time. So that's a piece of advice I'd like for you to keep, is really to be able to let go of the things that are holding you back and open up to the things that can actually bring a lot of good into your life. I hope that helps you.